Today I'm going to share with you how I freeze our tomatoes from the garden, from harvest to the freezer. The do's and the don'ts. And let me tell you something, this was not staged. I grabbed the wrong plastic bag. It had a garden flag in it, and I didn't know those bags do not have bottoms. Let's get into this so we can all do this right. So freezing tomatoes is really easy. Now, of course, if you're into canning is great. But for me, it is so time consuming. And if you don't do it right, you could end up losing everything you have canned in case it wasn't done 100% right. I prefer personally freezing. It's fast, it's easy, it's wash and freeze, and you've got fresh tomatoes all year. We mainly grow here in our gardens the smaller varieties because we get a much bigger production. When you have tomato plants that grow really big tomatoes, they tend to only have a few. But when you grow tomato plants that are the cherry tomatoes or the smaller varieties, you literally can get hundreds and hundreds of tomatoes. And I actually have found that the plants seem to last longer and will go well into the fall. And if your weather's good, it can go into the winter too. Now, real quick, let's go over some of the do's and the don'ts. What you want to do if you're going to save tomatoes is start to pick them as soon as they turn red. I have a problem sometimes forgetting and leaving them on there, and they can split, but other things that happen to them is they look really good on the plants, but they're actually starting to get whiny, so they don't taste as good. But they always are at their sweetest and their best tasting when they first turn red. I'm going to show you here how I do my tomatoes, and like I said, we do the small variety, but of course you can use big tomatoes too. You can just slice them up and you don't have to blanch them if you're not worried about the skin. With this small variety, I wash them really good in the sink and I remove all the stems. I get all the leaves, stems, everything off and just have the tomato. I wash it real good and then I put them in a colander and I let them dry pretty much. They don't have to be perfect. And then I put them either on a cookie sheet or any tray. I even have some food trays that I got from parties we had here that people left, and I just put them on the plastic trays. Then the best thing to do is throw the whole tray with a single layer of tomatoes in your freezer. Now, once they're frozen, it could be a matter of hours. You just remove them out of the freezer and you start putting them in plastic bags. Now, you can pack them in little bags or you can pack them in big bags. If you're going to continue picking your tomatoes and adding to it, then go ahead and get a big bag. And you can do this all the time. You can do it once a week and do it every couple days. And you can add to your bag until the bag is full, and then you can go on to the next bag. And that is how easy it is. The reason I prefer to wash them and dry them and do it this way is if there's too much water in there, they'll start to stick together. Otherwise, you have solid marbles. Now, as far as what you do with the frozen tomatoes, let me tell you something. You can put them in sauce. You can use them in stir fry. You can stews, soups, enchiladas, lasagna, anything you want. You can even slice them up and put them in a sandwich or a salad. They will be a little soft after they've been frozen, but it will be fine. So they're perfect to use anytime. And let me show you this little bag. That's from last year. We have so many tomatoes, I never go through them, but you never know. You can have a good winter where you grow a lot, and you can have a winter where it's too cold and all the tomato plants die back. Now, if you're doing tomatillos, if you're growing those, be sure to freeze those too. The only difference I do with them is I peel them when I wash them, no stems, and get the peeling off so they're ready to use. Then I can take them out of the freezer and I can put them in a chopper, I can make salsa out of them or whatever I want, but they freeze perfect, just like tomatoes. You want to get them off the plant before your birds get them or anything else. And sometimes birds do eat tomatoes when they're really sweet. So I hope I've given you some ideas on how to freeze tomatoes. They are so easy to freeze. And like I said, in the freezer, they store for over a year. So when you are walking through your garden and you're growing cherry tomatoes and they're all over the place, make sure to bring a bag or something with you or a little basket. Continue to pick them. Bring them in, wash them, freeze them, and you'll have more tomatoes than you know what to do with. And in the winter, I'm telling you, you'll be grateful to have your own tomatoes from your own garden. Or if you went to the store and they had a super deal and they were blowing tomatoes out real cheap, you can freeze them for that too. With that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye.